Before we start, hit that subscribe button, because after this story, you'll never ignore strange noises in your house again. It began on a rainy Sunday in late November. The Morales family had just moved into an old two-story home on Westbridge Avenue, a house that had stood empty for nearly 6 years. The realtor said it just needed a little love. What it really needed was silence. 3 nights in, they started hearing it, a faint scratching between the walls. At first, they blamed rats. Then it started sounding bigger. The noise came mostly around 2 a.m. when the house was still and the rain hit the gutters. It wasn't random either. It followed the rhythm of footsteps. Maria Morales recorded it on her phone. The audio was disturbing, a dragging sound, then 3 knocks, like someone tapping back. Her husband, David, decided to investigate. He pulled open a section of drywall near the stairs and found something unexpected, a set of old vent ducts sealed from the inside. When he shined his flashlight in, the beam reflected off something wet. That same night, their baby monitor started picking up faint static, and underneath it, what sounded like breathing. Maria unplugged it, but the sound didn't stop. It grew louder. By morning, the drywall was cracked from the inside, like something had pushed outward. When David called a pest control company, the technician arrived pale-faced. "You're not the first house on this block with movement in the walls," he said quietly. "But most people don't stay long enough to find out what's in there." That night, the noises returned. Only this time, they came from inside the nursery. Before we start, hit that subscribe button, drop a comment, and turn on notifications, because after this story, you'll never ignore strange noises in your house again. The Morales family moved into 217 Westbridge Avenue on a cold November morning. The house was old, its wallpaper faded and floorboards warped, but the price was good. Too good. It had been listed for years, always vacant, always quietly avoided by locals who didn't want to say why. Maria Morales loved the space at first. The creaky charm, the tall windows. Her husband, David, started repairs immediately, patching walls and rewiring light fixtures. But only 3 nights in, Maria heard it, a faint scraping between the walls behind the staircase. At first, she thought it was rats. Then the sound changed, slow, deliberate, dragging like fingertips along wood. They ignored it until the following night, when the scratching turned into rhythmic knocks, 3 at a time, always near the same wall. David recorded the sound on his phone, playing it back with disbelief. The knocks seemed to respond to his movements, like something was listening. When he tapped the wall, there was a pause, then 3 knocks back. The next morning, David removed a piece of drywall near the sound. Dust poured out, followed by a damp metallic smell. Behind it, he found a sealed vent shaft. The metal warped as if pressed from the inside. When he shone his flashlight inside, the beam caught something wet and red. Maybe rust. Or maybe not. That night, the baby monitor in their daughter's room crackled to life. Beneath the static came a low hum, almost like breathing. Maria unplugged it, but the sound didn't stop. It moved, from one wall to another, until it was right behind her headboard. By morning, a hairline crack had split the wall beside the crib. Dust coated the carpet. Something had pushed outward. David called pest control. The technician stared at the wall for a long time before saying softly, "You're not the first house on this street with movement." Maria frowned. "What kind of movement?" He hesitated. "The kind that doesn't crawl, the kind that waits." Before you keep watching, hit subscribe, because after what the Morales family found next, you'll never look at your own walls the same way again. The pest control visit didn't help. The technician left after only 20 minutes, muttering that the house had dead air, the kind old homes get when something's sealed where it shouldn't be. That night, David noticed every nail on the staircase wall had begun to loosen, as if the house was exhaling. He grabbed his flashlight, pried open more drywall near the crack by the nursery, and uncovered something strange. Not insulation, not pipes. A second wall, built just inches behind the first. Between them was an empty cavity, large enough for a person to crawl through. Maria filmed everything on her phone, her hands shaking. The flashlight flickered as David leaned closer, shining the beam down the narrow void. For a moment, it reflected off something smooth, pale, maybe plastic, before the light cut out completely. When he turned it back on, the thing was gone. But there was sound now, the unmistakable noise of someone dragging a hand across wood, retreating deeper into the house. They called the police. 2 officers came, checked every room, even the attic, and found nothing. "Probably raccoons," one of them said with a forced laugh. But Maria noticed he never looked directly at the walls. The officers left at midnight. By 1 o'clock a.m., the noises returned, this time from inside the vents. The baby monitor activated again on its own, screen flickering. The feed showed static, then briefly, a figure crouched behind the crib, motionless. But when David burst into the nursery, it was empty. He tore open the wall completely in panic, exposing the hidden cavity. Behind the plaster, a narrow passageway led downward, wood panels warped from moisture and age. At the end of the tunnel, the faint glow of a single light. Tire bulb flickered. Maria whispered, "David, someone's living inside our house." He turned back, but before he could speak, the light inside the tunnel went out, followed by a single slow knock from within the dark. When the tunnel light went out, silence followed. Thick, suffocating silence. Maria begged David not to go in, but he couldn't stop himself. He crawled inside, the wood groaning beneath his weight. The smell hit first. Damp, rot, something older than dust. His flashlight trembled as it cut through the dark. The tunnel twisted sharply, leading into what looked like a hidden crawl space behind the house's foundation. He found old food wrappers, a torn sleeping bag, and scattered Polaroid photos. Faces, families, some smiling, some asleep, all of them photographed through windows. Back upstairs, Maria's phone started vibrating non-stop. Dozens of notifications from their Ring camera app. Motion detected, nursery. When she opened the feed, it showed the crib, but someone was standing over it. A tall, thin figure, hair hanging forward, wearing David's hoodie. She screamed his name, but he didn't respond. The image froze, then glitched. The figure's head turned slowly toward the camera, but the face wasn't David's. It was someone else's. Someone pale, with wide, dark eyes staring straight through the lens. The feed cut to black. Police arrived at dawn after a neighbor reported screams. They found the front door open, lights still on, and a hole in the nursery wall large enough for a person to crawl through. No sign of David or Maria. Days later, investigators discovered a hidden space behind the house's foundation. The same narrow passage David had entered. Inside were piles of old furniture, tools, and a small mattress wedged between beams. A police report described it as an unauthorized living area. But the strangest detail came from the evidence technician. When he reviewed the baby monitor footage, the timestamp didn't match. Every video had been recorded 2 days before the family moved in. They never found the person who made those recordings. Now the house sits empty again, but neighbors still hear knocking late at night. And sometimes when the wind hits the siding just right, it sounds almost like breathing.